Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Thoughts and Theories on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This episode we're going to be covering where does Breath of the Wild take place in the Zelda timeline. So as I'm sitting here with Hyrule Historia laid on my lap, I have the timeline right here. And let me tell you guys where I think this game takes place. So if you don't already know, which I hope you do already, the timeline kind of begins with Skyward Sword, then it continues to Minish Cap, Four Swords Adventures, Ocarina of Time, and there's just a three-way split after Ocarina of Time. We've got the hero is defeated, he loses the fight against Ganon, which brings up the events of A Link to the Past, the Oracle games, Link's Awakening, The Legend of Zelda, and then the Adventure of Link. And then we have two more timelines, where the hero is triumphant, and he wins the battle against Ganon. So then we have Majora's Mask, followed by Twilight Princess, and Four Swords Adventures. And then we have the Hero of Winds, or A New World. I like to, look at that. How did they name this part of the timeline? A New World. It's kind of strange, but anyways, they go on with The Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. And finally, Breath of the Wild. That's right. I think The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild primarily takes place in the New World, or the Wind Waker timeline. Just think about it for a minute, though. As seen in the final battle and the ending of Ocarina of Time, Link defeats Ganondorf, sealing him in the Sacred Realm with the help of the Seven Sages. Later on, Ganondorf then escapes the seal, which forces the gods to which forces the gods to create the Great Flood. The events of the Wind Waker then occur, immediately followed by the events of Phantom Hourglass. Tetra's pirates discover a new continent and establish a new Hyrule. There, the events of Spirit Tracks occur. So Spirit Tracks events are taking place on the new Hyrule. So in Spirit Tracks, Link is not grown up, but in Breath of the Wild, he will be grown up. So Breath of the Wild takes place right after Spirit Tracks. Breath of the Wild Link is the grown-up version of Spirit Tracks Link, or it could possibly be one of, again, another Link incarnation years afterwards. But I think that he will stem off of the Link that is last seen in Spirit Tracks. So this is where we kind of have to put in the main theory or the main story of the game right here, and why Link is in this coma and he's now waking up. So anyways, insert the main theory of the game, or insert the main story of the game and why Link's in a coma. So he got put into a coma somehow that we don't know, and wakes up 100 years later, possibly after the events of Spirit Tracks. And then Ganon's reincarnation, or as they like to call it now, Calamity Ganon, has come to the new Hyrule that was established in Spirit Tracks, and with no hero of courage to stop him, he took over the new founded Hyrule. So after the events of Spirit Tracks, we don't really know what happened to that Link. He either becomes an engineer, he becomes a few different things. Possibly that Link dies off, or he gets put into the coma somehow. But regardless, this incarnation of Ganon, Calamity Ganon, came to this new Hyrule, and he's taken over. He's destroyed everything, and there's Link's not there to stop him, so nobody can stop him. So more clues kind of point to this theory, because the Koroks are in this game. It was a nice surprise when we first saw it in I believe it was the E3 2016 or E3 2015 presentation. We noticed one of the first races that we saw in the game was the Koroks, and it was interesting because we're like, whoa, wait a minute, those are only in Wind Waker. How are they in this game? It's not making sense. This game has to take place after that. Okay, so let's continue again. The Rudos also make an appearance. So again, the Rudos are only making an appearance in Wind Waker. So it's having a little bit more clues pointing towards the theory that it takes place in this time. Since the Koroks are in this game and the Rudos are in this game, they have both reproduced and evolved quite a bit. So you've noticed that the Rudos were just small little birds, but now they're these grown-up guys, and they look a little bit different. And then the Koroks don't look too much different, but they have evolved over the times and they have reproduced quite a bit. And then, you know, some of the older versions of them died off due to natural selection. And the new found in Hyrule makes sense because the Rudos and the Koroks are only present in this timeline. But it's strange because we also see a few Zora. That kind of brings up something new in this theory. The Zoras they're nowhere to be seen in this timeline. They have died off, but we see it in a Breath of the Wild trailer. So you guys might be wondering, how do I explain that quite a bit? Well, that's one of the main missing components of this theory. I mean, we see all of the races in the Zelda franchise here. We see the Gerudos, the Gorons, the Koroks, the Rudos, Sheikahs, Hylians, but no Zoras. That is strange. Zoras, but no, like we see Zoras in the Breath of the Wild trailer, but the Zoras there's no Zoras. There cannot be a Zora in this timeline. Well, that's kind of where this theory takes a little bit of a long stretch in the dark. But I think I got it, guys. The Zelda timeline comes together, and Breath of the Wild is the final ending to the Legend of Zelda franchise. That's right, guys, you heard me right. It makes perfect sense for Breath of the Wild to be the final Zelda game. You need to just look at all of the components of some of the trailers, and you gotta look at what they have been saying. You gotta pick up the small little details that they're picking up. They're ending the Legend of Zelda franchise the same exact way that they started it, guys. The Legend of Zelda, Link comes out of the cave and they want you to explore it and find everything on your own. What are they doing with Breath of the Wild? So that's something to keep in mind, guys. This will be the last Zelda game that they will make. Well, I shouldn't say that it's the last Zelda game that they'll make, but it's the last Zelda game to conclude the timeline. This is where the franchise comes to end. It comes together in this game. But I'm gonna cut this video a little bit short here. We're gonna have quite a few Zelda theories on this channel, a little bit before Breath of the Wild comes out and a little bit afterwards. There will be no spoilers. This is all just theories and speculations. So thank you guys for coming through to another episode of Thoughts and Theories, and please subscribe for more. Join the Discord for all of my streaming updates and YouTube updates. Joining the Discord is the best thing you can do if you want to get all of your updates on me. Links will be down below in the description. And thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.